Please tell me that I'm not the only one that feels like my brain is turning into a melted lump of cheese. No? Good. Then this video is for you. We're going to talk about brainrot, which is a kind of a disgusting word. At least I get a kind of gross visual. Brainrot was released as the word of the year in 2024 with the description that it's the supposed deterioration of a person's mental health or intellectual state, especially caused by overconsumption of trivial or unchallenging content. But what does it really feel like? Because that's a lot of fancy words and was a real mouthful to read. I mean, tell me if I'm weird, but I feel like it feels like I can feel that my brain is, crumpling down and really dying. It's like I can see it melt like cheese in the microwave or in the oven. It just dies. That's the best way I can describe it. And I think that you can relate to this if you think about it. When you have consumed too much of the memes and the fast, short videos that really don't have a lot of substance in it or information, it's just a 1.2 second interaction and it's just pyong, pyong, pyong into your poor skull over and over again. When I get stuck in cycles like that, as I said, my brain is just, it feels like I can't think anymore. My brain stops braining. Symptoms that are very common when you are experiencing the brain rot phenomena is foggy thinking and forgetfulness. I mean, don't even get me started on that. I was already forgetful because of my burnout. And when I get into cycles of, slowly killing my brain, the forgetfulness just spikes. It gets even worse. You walk into a room and are like, what? Where am I? What am I doing? Why am I here? Trying to put the dishes away in the bathroom and so on. It's just, the deterioration is real. And you also crave this constant distraction. Just the thought of maybe, waiting for the bus or, just sitting, looking, and not pulling out your phone or putting on a podcast or putting on the TV with something is scary to a lot of people because you always want that. You want that hit. And I mean, that we can get into in another video if you want, but we all know, right, that the social media platforms are all designed to keep our attention as much as possible. Our attention is currency. Our attention is cash. So everything is designed for you to just one more video, scroll a little bit more. And the moment you feel bored, your brain is going to be like, ooh, maybe a little dopamine hit would be nice. And so you bring out your phone and just look for the hit. Really, we're cell phone junkies, internet junkies, social media junkies. And this constant search for distractions will lead to you really never feeling like you're present in the moment, because you're really not, are you? I mean, we're always then somewhere else in our minds. It's like our body is physically here, but our minds are somewhere else. And of course, another side effect of that is the attention spans. And I'm fairly sure that I'm not the only one that have actually, it's like I can see my attention span. If it was like a bar, I can see it just go down. And when you just see that when you're trying to like read something or listen to someone talking, which is the worst, I think, because the feeling when your brain starts to like flailing away when you're trying to talk to somebody, that just stirs up so many emotions for me, because I want to hear what the person I'm talking to has to say, but I can't help my brain from just wandering off. And I feel rude, I feel panic because I can't remember or hear what the person are saying, and I can't mentalize over it either. So, it really, it makes conversations not as, wholesome as they could be. And the last two symptoms that you can feel, of course, this feels like it's sort of a given regarding, taking into consideration what we just talked about. Depression, anxiety, overwhelm, and tiredness, of course. When we have something that is always poking on our attention like this, it's like we're jumping into a pool, staying underwater and never goes up for air, or just goes up for air to just and then go back down again. And then we wonder, why am I depressed? Why am I tired? Why? If you think about it like that, it's fairly obvious. And I'm not saying it's easy to, because these are habits and our brain is still like a Neanderthal and really primal, so it's not really helping us not to be addicted to the hits with our phones and our internet and social media and everything. And again, I've said this before in earlier videos. When I talk about these things, I am not by any means saying that social media is the devil and it's the worst thing ever in the world, but it's also a fact that it's affecting us in ways that we are discovering now as we go. It's like a giant experiment, really, that we are all a part of, and we don't know how it's gonna turn out. I guess what I'm advocating here is just that we become more aware of how we use it. And am I using it now? A lot of people, at least like with my friends and everything, they have the argument that, but I go on Instagram to get inspiration, or TikTok or whatever. I use it for inspiration. I want to, But when you really talk about it, it's like, yeah, but that's just, you're just trying to, package your own, addiction to it. You're not, what are you doing with that so-called inspiration? Are you even doing anything with it? Or inspiration to what? I'm just trying to say that we will be way better off if we start to really use these platforms and everything, all the tools that we have, which are amazing with the internet, that we start using them with more awareness. Okay, so let's say that your brain is melted cheese, my brain is melted cheese. How the fuck do we do to get our brains back? Because it will be very hard to continue on in life with a brain that just doesn't work. I like it when my brain can think and, be creative and be happy and not be chained to my phone. First of all, start using your phone and social media or whatever it is that you are addicted to get these hits over and over again. Take a break from them, which is way, way easier said than done, because it's like, they're always calling us with the notifications and the brain is like, hello, don't you want this thing? And you're like, yeah, I know. But, it will be way, way, way harder than it sounds. But for me, for example, I use these focus modes. I have an iPhone, so I use focus mode where I, in the evenings, I never get notifications. I have turned off everything. From 7 p.m., you can call me, but if you write to me on Messenger, Instagram, YouTube or whatever, I'm not gonna get a notification. Or email me, I won't see it. And that has been it's been really helpful, because that just kicks in, that mode, that's silent mode, just kicks in on my phone without me really having to do anything. So it's been a real help in establishing that habit of not being constantly on my phone in the evenings. And sometimes I fall back into it, I really do. By no means I'm perfect, but it's a start. So that's a tip for you as well. I think it works on Androids as well. I just don't know the word for it. But on iPhone you have these focus modes that you can enable. I will leave a link in the comment to some tutorial, because I'm not a tech person whatsoever, but I'll leave a tutorial link for you below. Really simple, automatic, and it will help you, I promise. And secondly, practice mindfulness, like being here and now. And yeah, it can sound, so I'm trying to find, the words and how do I say this and describe it without it feeling like you have to sit like this, and just That's not what I really mean, because it's such a big shift from what you have been doing. I mean, if you have been like glued to your phone and always being reachable and everything, and then you want to start to change your habits and try to be less everywhere with your attention. Sitting down and just meditating, that can be really, really difficult. So I think it has been easier for me to, like when I'm out for a walk, for example, I maybe stop for a second and just look around me. You don't have to do anything. Just look around and just see what you see. Make a mental note of what it is that you see. Like, yes, there is a tree and there's maybe a squirrel, or, oh, I can feel this rock in my shoe. Just, it doesn't have to be anything extraordinary. It's not like you have to like see God or something. Just regular, mundane things like, oh, there's a leaf falling down, or there's a worm on the ground. I don't know, But noticing things that is in front of you right now. And even if you do it for just like 30 seconds, if you do it continuously, it will help you. Use your senses to ground yourself, so to speak. One of my favorite things, of course, is to, put your phone on silent, or even just leave the phone in another room and go do something that you enjoy, something creative, perhaps. Like, I love to just leave my phone away, and when you can just allow yourself the time to sink into your project and, be able, because if you do that, you will be able to maybe achieve this flow state that you maybe have heard of before. Otherwise, just let me know and I will talk about the flow state and how you can get into it. But that's basically when you do something and you lose track of time and everything feels easy, and then one action just follows the next without you having to think, really. Everything just flows. Everything just happens, and it's just such a joyful experience. But this state requires of us not to constantly be disrupted. And the next tip I have for you is to try and read a book. Which also all of this is very, like, I hope at least, I'm trying to package it so it will be very reachable and attainable. It's easy and scalable. You can do it however it fits you and whatever, like, difficulty level that you want to take it to. But reading books have been proving to actually reverse the brain rot, because when you read a book you keep attention longer on one thing, and you have to take in information, and your brain have to handle that information for longer periods of time. So just go to your library and pick out a book that seems interesting to you. Don't pick something strange or something that is like gonna impress anybody or anything. Just pick a book that's interesting to you. Because if you have that inherent interest and the drive to read it, that because you wanna know what's gonna happen or what they're gonna say next, it's gonna be way easier to actually read the damn thing. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions about this. Do you have any more tips maybe on how to like revive your brain? Do some CPR on your brain after maybe years of rotting it out? Let me know in the comments. Share your story. I'd love to read them. And don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.